Hey everybody, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be doing something totally different. And that is looking at altcoins that I would otherwise not make a video on. And whether that's just because there's not enough data or I wouldn't consider them sound financial investments, I'm going to be comparing them and not putting the work that I've done to waste on looking at these alts. I'm going to be comparing them and sharing my opinions on each one. And also, now this is just for me, this is totally on my risk tolerance and it's not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm also going to be ranking them in terms of how comfortable I would feel holding each of these assets in terms of my total portfolio. Now, if I was a well-rounded, diversified, well-experienced, aged investor in the crypto space, naturally, I would have both Bonk and Pepe taking up 20% of my portfolio each. Now, I'm sure some of you have done the math. There's 13 altcoins here, and if there's an altcoin or two in every aisle, it's going to add up to above 100. I'm just saying, if I was to hold a percentage of these coins, this is what I would feel comfortable with, and it's not actually what represents my portfolio or anything like that. A lot of these coins I don't actually hold currently, but I may pick some up in the future. Now, with all those disclaimers out of the way, let's get into our first altcoin, and that is Arkham. Now, Arkham has been on my radar for quite a while, basically since it was launched. In fact, I think before it launched, I'm not quite sure how it worked. I think Binance had an initial coin offering, and I got some through a learn and earn, again, quite a long time ago. But the coin is 6 months old, it's been traded for 6 months, and it's quite a low market cap of 406. And currently trading for about 50 cents. And Arkham actually fits really nicely into the criteria that I like to look at for an altcoin. And for me, if I want to pick up an altcoin, I like to look at new ones because oftentimes they have the most hype. Now for me, Arkham, it's a low market cap and it's brand new, as in it's 6 months new, which are both good and very bad things. It's a double-edged sword. And for me, that means, first of all, it's very low. I'm getting in potentially on the ground floor, or at least that's what it can feel like. You can also just go straight down from there, but you're getting in at a low price potentially, and because it's very new, it has very few psychological barriers. And for altcoins that launch in the bear market, or at least not in the bull run, this is a very good thing, because during their inception, they don't have a long time to go down. Because if the whole crypto space is trading down, most likely this altcoin is launching into a price it's not going to be able to uphold, it's going to trade downwards. However, these last 6 months, we have seen a revival in the crypto space, and Arkham's price has reflected this, and it has traded up. So for me, don't want to ramble too long, it's a very nice altcoin, and I would feel quite comfortable having it as a 15%. Now, this next crypto called BMX is quite speculative. It's still in the early stages. I think it's in beta. So technically it's not really an actual platform yet, which does worry me. It does leave it open to being cancelled or not continued, discontinued. But it also does have a lot of upsides. Now, it's a gaming token, which, well, it's not specifically a gaming token, I don't think, but it's a platform that people can develop smart contracts on, and I think it's being pushed as a gaming token. It also belongs in the Beam ecosystem, like its name would suggest, which is a proof of work coin. So it has the backing of miners and also the Beam ecosystem. So if the Beam ecosystem does well, most likely BeamX will also do well, and the inverse is true as well, most likely. It's got quite a high market cap, and considering it's only been around for 3 months, this does bode well. It does show that there's a lot of positive price movement in the coin, a lot of hype, which is a good thing because in bull runs, hype is what drives a lot of the prices up for these speculative assets. And even though it's trading around 1 cent, only 3 months old, taking that 68th market cap ranking is really impressive, I think. However, that sort of beta untested phase still worries me a bit, but to be honest with you, I don't think it'll worry many other people. And I think when it comes to crunch time in the bull run, this coin will probably do very well. So I would be happy holding a decent amount of Beam, but I wouldn't want to expose myself too much. So I think I will put it in the 10% range of my portfolio. This next coin is Casper. Now, we've actually done a couple of videos on Casper, and in fact one the other day, which you can check out after this video, of course. You're going to watch this video to the very end, naturally. Now, Casper's a really interesting one because going back to what I said about Arkham, it's a relatively new coin, much longer than these two. It's been around for a year and a half, but it doesn't have any real resistance currently. It's currently trading 33% down from its all-time high, which may sound like a lot, but Casper has gone up exponentially over this last year and a half, and this pullback honestly doesn't seem too serious. Now, it could turn into something more serious, but Casper has seen much worse and then performed extremely well afterwards. So it's not got me something worrying too much. And around this time, I would actually be looking at picking up some Casper. Full disclosure as well, I do also mine Casper with an ASIC, so technically I do hold some. Again, currently trading below 10 cents, I think it's around 9 cents currently, and with a market cap of 40 or 39, it changes. Casper has also shown that it's one of those cryptos to suddenly come from nowhere and take a top 50 spot, which is really bullish. And again, it's an extremely quick layer 1. I know there's a lot of those around, but I think it's boasting the fastest, which is where a lot of its hype came from, and has put Solana on its edge a little bit. And again, that's probably why both Solana and Casper have rallied recently. They're both extremely fast blockchains that are both capable of smart contracts and therefore gaming and AI and all the rest of the stuff that comes with that. And for me personally, a top 50 crypto that has only rallied in a non-bull run year would leave me wondering what could happen in a bull run year. So for me, I think I would be comfortable. I'm teetering between 20 and 15%, but I think I would be comfortable probably putting 20% of my portfolio on Casper, because I don't think I'll be putting 20% on any of these others. In my opinion, a good pickup and not a safe bet, but one I would feel comfortable taking. Injective Network next, which is one that really appeals to me personally and I think is super cool. It's a layer 2 application on the Cosmos network, which I feel like Cosmos hasn't gotten a lot of attention recently, but I do think is a really cool crypto. A lot going on. Injective is basically a decentralized exchange, but you can trade things like futures and forex and all this other stuff. So it's not just a crypto exchange, it's a sort of other assets exchange, which I think is really cool. And it has sort of exploded very recently. It's currently taking the 29th spot in the market cap and currently trading at about $34 a coin, which is quite expensive for a crypto. Not many of them go above a few dollars, especially in sort of these non-bull run times, but it has had 3 years to get there. In my opinion, very interesting coin, and I think it will do well. For that reason, I'm going to put it in the 10% portion of my portfolio. Again, it's not something I want huge exposure to, but I think will ultimately do pretty good over the bull run year. Next up is Graph, and to break it down, Graph is just an AI token or an oracle, if you will. It gathers data and makes it accessible, which other blockchains and smart contract applications can use. Now, Graph's been around for a while. Give or take 5 years, and currently takes up the 50th spot in terms of market cap. So again, quite a big, well-known, established crypto, and trading for, in my opinion, quite cheap compared to its all-time high. Currently at 15 cents, but I think its all-time high is above $3, which does put it in place for a 20x at today's price if it was to return. Graph is a crypto that I held for a bit and do currently hold, of only a very small amount, but I do still hold it, and I do feel very comfortable with this token. I think it will do well, especially with the current narratives in the crypto space today. So for me, I'm going to put Graph at 15. Next up is Bonk. Now, I'm sure you all know Bonk. It's a Solana meme coin. And what's crazy is Bonk has actually been around for a year. I didn't know this. I thought it just came out a couple of months ago and took the crypto space by storm, but it's actually been around for a whole year. So there you go, learn something new every day. Ranked 83, again, much lower than I thought in terms of market cap, but it has cooled off. It's been a month or two since we did have the crazy hype around Bonk and where people were buying Solana phones so they could get airdropped Bonk and trading at something like 1,000th of a cent. To be honest with you, it pains me to say this. I'm not going to put Bonk in not worth the risk, because I think even if it took up 5% of your portfolio, and in the bull run, it's not uncommon for meme coins to just explode in price. However, I do think most of Bonk's move is up, and basically the same with Pepe. I think it's had most of its hype. I don't think much of that will come back. Those could be famous last words, and hundreds of Bonk billionaires and Pepe millionaires might be made in 2025. For me, I don't think it's worth the risk. And while I do think in a strong crypto space, Bonk and Pepe will probably perform very well, I just don't think it's worth putting a lot of money into. I think, to be honest with you, it's actually quite high risk now compared to what it was a few months ago. Well, a few months ago, you'd be like a millionaire now if you invested like $100 into it. But compared to what it is now, I think it's gone up quite a bit. It's seen a bit of a pullback. I have a feeling not much is going to happen with Bonk until the bull run. Maybe I'm wrong. It's not a risk I would feel very comfortable taking. So I'm going to be generous with Bonk, and I would put it in 5%. And I'm going to do the same with Pepe. And that's only because I like to have a diverse portfolio. And sadly, meme coins do count towards diversification, even if it is a very, very, very tiny bit for me. Again, quick backstory on Pepe, only 6 months old. I would have expected a similar time frame for Bonk, but Bonk is much older. Pepe currently ranked 113 market cap wise and trading at like 100,000th of a cent, both virtually worth nothing if you have a single Pepe coin, and for me, not worth a risk holding much of them. Now, FET has actually been around for a very long time and also shares the name of one of my favorite villains, which is Boba Fett. Very interesting bit of information there. Currently trading at 60 cents. It's a coin that did well during the last bull run. However, in these last few months, it's rallied extremely well and is actually quite close to its all-time high of just below $1. Now, again, I think this is the whole AI narrative really shaking up the crypto space and any AI coins that go with it. It does seem to predominantly be an economic sort of trading bot, macro analyst type of coin where, again, you provide it with information, it refines its data, and it gives you a result to your question with the data you provided it and a wide range of others. Again, it's a machine learning model. So very cool. And again, it makes AI something that we normal people can invest in, because currently we can't invest in AI stocks, I don't think, until they've actually launched, which again, anyway, is a whole different thing. Been around for a while. We've seen it go up in bull runs before. It's close to its all-time high. This shows to me that it could potentially break above its all-time high. I would be happy putting FET at 10% of my portfolio value. Now, like FET, Flux, our next coin, is another long timer. Having been around for 5 years like FET, it's proved itself and been through one bull run and did very well that bull run. Currently trading at 60 cents, it's quite well below its all-time high, but it's basically a layer 1, a smart contract Web3 layer 1 that you can interact with and developers can build dApps on and you can use them. So again, it's sort of open to the whole AI and gaming narrative with a few bits and bobs already existing on the chain. It's a proof of work coin as well, so that's another thing that might sway you one way or the other. For me, I look at it as a positive. It sort of ensures a more secure network, in my opinion. Now, I know the downsides of energy that come with that, and that's a whole other topic. But for me, I do see it for the actual cryptocurrency itself. I do see it as a positive. Now, full disclosure again, I have mined Flux at one point, and while I don't currently hold any, I probably will in the future. But it's not a coin that I think I would want to hold a lot of. I think it will probably do well. It's quite a low market cap, so 240 in terms of market cap. A lot of potential for it to move up, and if it does break its all-time high, you are looking at some good price returns. So for me, not that it's a super risky coin, I just don't think it'll perform extremely well, in my opinion. So I'm going to put it in the 10%. Again, a coin I'm comfortable holding, but not too fussed about what happens with it. As long as it goes up, it's done its job, in my opinion. Now, this coin here, OXO, is actually something that really, really, really interests me, and I think is super cool. Now, I came into crypto and Bitcoin from more of a privacy cypherpunk background. That's what first led me to crypto. Before any of the price action or stuff, I was first interested in the software. And to me, OXO is kind of like a super cool, awesome dream. And that's probably skewing and presenting a bit of a bias to me. But it's basically an AI crypto that offers decentralized services totally orientated around privacy. So they have things like coin mixers, they have decentralized exchanges that sort of mask transactions, not mask them, but they try keep them as hidden as possible by like using roll-ups and zero proof knowledges and all this stuff to bundle your transaction with a load of others and then send your crypto to a wallet that's brand new. Loads of cool stuff going on with this coin, and for me it again ticks a lot of the boxes that I look for in a new altcoin. It's brand new, it's 1 year old, not brand new, but it's new in terms of this cycle. It's quite low market cap wise, but it is within the top 500, which is again sort of my range that I like to stick within, the top 500. Currently ranked 334 and trading at about 10 cents. Again, it's been doing pretty well over this last year since its launch, and for me, just because it's so aligned with my interests and passions, I would be willing to put it at 15%. I do realize that I haven't actually ordered these in terms of where I want them, so I think I will have my 15% like this. Again, OXO leading the charge in terms of my 15%, and then Graph and Arkham, and again Arkham just because It's the one I least know about, but does look very interesting. Beam, I don't want at the top, but I don't think it's at the very end either. I think probably, that, and then FET behind. So yeah, that works for me. And again, these are equal to me, but I would probably, to be honest with you, Pepe in front of Bonk. I feel like Pepe probably has a little bit higher to go. I feel like Bonk has had a lot of its hype drained, and while Pepe also had a lot of hype, it's spent longer doing nothing. So I don't know. Literally doesn't bother me too much. Down to our final three now. And our next coin is Nakamoto Games. Now, a coin that's been around for a while, about 2 years, and like the name suggests, it is a gaming token, ranked 324 in terms of market cap. It's not doing too bad, and currently trading at about $1.20. Now, it has seen a bit of a drawback in price, and it hasn't really done much for over a year now. It's kind of traded within this $1 range, and to me, that's a little scary. It kind of shows that there's not much interest in the token. However, actually looking at their site, there are lots of cool, fun games to play that, again, aren't the most impressive things on the planet, but they are fun. And they have a lot of play-to-earn aspects, which could draw a lot of people in. I know there's a lot of first-person shooter games right now that are play-to-earn, and they're suddenly growing very big and popular. I can't think of the name now, but it's something like Shrapnel. I think it's Shrapnel. That one seems to be doing really well at the moment, getting a lot of attention. So I know Nakamoto Games has an FPS on it. I'm not too sure, but it could be something that maybe picks up. For me, I don't game too much, so it wouldn't personally appeal to me, but in terms of returns, I could maybe consider picking up some. It could be a bit of a gem that suddenly gets some recognition. Again, it has a big catalog of games that you can play on Nakamoto Games. So to be honest with you, I'd either put it at the top of the 5% or the lowest of the 10. And I think, to be honest with you, it just doesn't attract me too much, so I think I'm going to put it at the top of the 5%. I know that's a serious insult, putting it next to Pepe and Bonk, but actually, no, it's better than that. I'd much rather have this than memes, to be honest with you. Again, 2 years old, it's kind of, I actually don't know. I really feel like I am tempted to just have it at 5%. Oh, fuck it, go on, 5%. Final two now. Now, Prime, also known as Echelon Prime, doesn't really impress me too much, to be honest with you. It's got a very flashy dashboard and welcome homepage, but from what I've seen, it only really offers one game, which is fine. You know, you don't have to be quality, not quantity. And that being a card game, it's sci-fi, it's space sort of stuff. I haven't actually seen any gameplay, and I haven't put too much time into it, to be honest with you. The main reason that I chose it, actually, compared to a lot of other small cap gaming coins, and you will laugh at this, I do actually think that just because its ticker is Prime could actually give it a bit of decent price action because of KSI and Logan Paul's drink. And I say that as an insult to the coin. But I do think that, you know, if there's a lot of like 13, 14, 12-year-olds getting into crypto, and Logan Paul's promoting a new crypto maybe at the time, and they Google in Prime on CoinMarketCap and they see this, again, a very funny narrative that I kind of hope plays out, to be honest with you. But honestly, I don't really think it would. There's a small part of my brain that hopes that happens. Again, not a coin that really interests me. Could do well, could interest a lot of other people. Again, that's a question you should be asking. Not particularly does it interest me, will it interest the majority of people, whether that's globally or in a certain market. I think it could be a cool card game. There does seem to be a lot of card type games. I know Axie Infinity isn't a card game, but I think there is plenty of them out there. Again, if it's something you're interested in, you can maybe Google it. I don't know if it's a sort of pay to earn, if you get me, where you have to like buy an NFT and those NFTs are your cards, and then you have to play lots of games to win your money back potentially. It could be something like that. It could be open entry to everybody. You get a free set of NFTs, but your return from what you earn is extremely low. I don't know. You give it a look. For me, it's not something that really catches my eye. And I think, to be honest with you, I'm going to put it in the 5% and below Nakamoto Games because while Nakamoto Games is more diversified, spread out, a lot of games there that could attract a lot of people, Echelon has put all of its eggs in one basket. And while it is trading at $7.70 roughly, and again, been around for a year, market cap of 126, pretty impressive stuff. You know, it's not like it's a nothing coin. It is up there. It does exist. For me, not super attractive. Now, last but certainly not least is XAI, and this is an interesting one. It's a gaming token, to get it out the way, currently ranked at 176 market cap wise, and currently trading for about 80 cents. It's brand new on the scene, literally a month old. You can't get much newer than this, and brands itself as the back end for gaming tokens. So I think its goal, from what I could find, and again, it is difficult to find information on this because first of all, it's quite new, and second of all, there's like a few meme coins called XAI surrounding Elon Musk, so just don't get them mixed up. It's trying to be like the traditional seamless gaming experience that you get with a lot of modern day games. They've gotten rid of crypto wallets, so you don't actually interact with a wallet. You have like an inventory like you would in a normal game, but it wants to be able to take the assets from one game and put them into another. Now, I don't really know what they have in terms of collaboration, but they do seem to be pretty certain on what they want to be. Again, the crypto is so new, things can change like this very quickly when developers find out that some things just aren't feasible / possible. It's a coin that interests me, and again, I think it's one of the riskier but also one of the potentially bigger upsides gaming tokens on this list. But with it having launched so early and having a decent market cap for where it currently is, I would probably consider putting it in the 10%. However, there's just a very decent likelihood that it does go to nothing. But I do think gaming will be a very strong narrative this bull run. So for me, I would probably be willing to take a little bit more of a risk on a more speculative technology in the hopes that it does well. And again, there's no sort of mental resistance lines on the price chart or anything like that. It can go up very easily. And again, it's a brand new coin, so liquidity is quite low, most likely. It's not something that I've actually looked too much into with the tokenomics. Again, a month old, I kind of wrote it off for any price analysis. Unless I'm looking at the 5-minute chart, it's kind of not worth it. So to be honest, I'd probably put it above. I'd probably rank it above Flux in the 10%. And one thing, I do actually want to move Prime into the not worth the risk, to be honest with you. I kind of forgot we had this bracket. I just think it's not worth the risk for a crypto that focuses on one game completely, and that game not being something that's particularly hot in today's current age. I also just don't know enough about it. So maybe if I spent more time looking at it, it might be more appealing. It's just not something that catches my eye. So that is my crypto list, and funnily enough, it's actually perfectly symmetrical, which is must be my subconscious at work there, with my need for control over everything, coupled with a strong case of OCD. But that about wraps it up. Hopefully you found this interesting and more of a fun video rather than anything else. Again, seeing how well this video does, I might keep it going or I might just get rid of it. It kind of depends on you guys. Comment down below if you want to see it again with more other funnier or riskier coins. Again, we could go into it via categories. It's up to you. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks again so much for watching, especially to the end. Big shout out if you watched till the end, and peace.